Alright guys, welcome back. We got the final week of the side quest. You could, again, I know I'm now a Valiant player, so if you just search Kingpin, you can find an easy Kingpin. But if you have a dual target for Lady Deathstrike, Kindred, Storm Pyramid X, or Kingpin, you can throw it in the comments. But either you can do some duels every day to get the keys, or if you go into like Proving Grounds in the daily side quest, I think the second difficulty has a chance to spawn like a Storm Pyramid X there. So I went in, it cost me 3 quick fights here to go ahead and do it in a little bit of energy, but you could, if you run out of your dual targets and you want to get those keys quickly, you can go ahead and just do some auto fight. Like, don't be careful not to auto fight, you don't want to waste your energy, but you fight, do a couple fights. Sometimes most of the times it doesn't have that extra fight in there, but it's usually 2 fights. I could grab the Storm Pyramid X fight and then back out and then like restart the fight, do it again, beat Storm Pyramid X, restart, do it over and over again. So once you've done that, you can always restart, do it again if you'd like, but then you go ahead into the final week of the side quest. The boss is either going to be Mole Man or Black Cat. Mole Man I had on my first run here. I'm going to show it was very easy. The Black Cat, you have to be careful because she can crit through your block, and every time she crits, she bleeds. So you just need a bleed immune champion, and then you should be pretty good to go against the Black Cat. Again, similar to the other weeks, there are 4 paths, but they also have some paths that you can kind of in the middle. You can choose to either do one path or the other, so it kind of will take you around, like, I guess depending on what champions you have. If you're limited in the champs you have and you want to bypass a few fights, you can. I just did 4 separate paths and got all my keys. Just make sure that if you do move across, that you don't go onto the same path twice, and that you get your 4 keys. That's the key bit. So here we fast forwarded through these fights. I didn't even play particularly well. I think this path was your specials don't do any damage, but your base attacks do a lot more damage. The main thing that I'm going to talk about in this one as a tip for while we go through this is that because they gave out double the amount of keys one week, every week since then, like for weeks 3 and 4, I've been able to jump in and do these paths right away without even going and collecting the keys. But if you do collect the keys, you'll end up with 4 extras. And if you have 4 extra keys, I think the best way to go about doing it is if you do one path of threat level 4 of each of the 4 weeks, right? Unless you're really uncomfortable with one of the final bosses, but if you do one path in each of threat level 4 for the 4 weeks, then you go into the final boss fight, use those keys for the threat level 4 of the vaults, then you can pick the best reward from each of the threat level 4 weeks. Because if you go ahead and just do them all in the same week, you're going to get the 4 different rewards for threat level 4, but instead you could pick and choose if you want primordial dust or shards or relic rank up materials or just more mysterium. You can choose that from each of the highest level vaults, or like from the threat level 4 vaults. You can do one path in each of the 4 weeks. I think that is by far the best. That is what I'm going to end up doing. So it's that's going to be my biggest tip, I think, here to maximize your extra rewards if you're someone who didn't lose any of your keys and you have 4 extras. So we're just going to finish fast forwarding through this Joe Fixit fight. Really nothing too exciting here at all. The paths were not too bad. I think I did complete them on one account. I did have a little bit of lag here on these fights. Even sped up, you can see the lag in full force. So I was just kind of rushing through these ones. But then the boss, nothing too exciting. I think it has red lining. Also, make sure you always check what level of Mysterium you have, because you don't want to go over that 50,000. So if you come close to 50,000, make sure you go to the Trader's Outpost, spend some of your Mysterium before you go back in and do any more of the side quest, because you don't want to do it and then waste the rewards. So here I got Mole Man, there's Rise to Power, Redlining, Bob and Weave. Bob and Weave is going to be, and Langur, Bob and Weave is going to be the big one, again, if you have Black Cat, because critting through the block is going to suck, because even if you block Black Cat, you are going to take bleeds. So you want to make sure that you go in with a bleed immune champion. You could make someone a horseman. You could, Apocalypse on his own is probably really good. He's probably great for Mole Man as well, because you can parry him freely. And he can go bleed immune against Black Cat. So Apoc is probably a great option here. But Domino took down Mole Man, no problem here. And then we will take a look. I think I ended up using Domino as well for the Kingpin boss. And we'll go through that fight in a second. But this one, the main thing is if you go over like little over 2 bars of power, you're going to get power drained down to 0. So you kind of need to use your power, or you're going to get power drained. But again, biggest thing is a bleed immune champion if you are planning on parrying Black Cat, which I think most of us will. So that's the end of the first section of the side quest, the maze. Now we're going to go into the vault. So it's a Kingpin fight. Again, if you die, you can just exit and you can just restart until you get the solo. Also, make sure you do all 4 paths and back away the back path here. But really, Cold Feet and Destructive Feedback. So Cold Feet, if he throws a heavy attack, you're going to be rooted, but it's pretty easy with his heavy attack to counter. As long as you wait for his heavy attack to end, you just dash away from it, and then you can attack in, no problem. Destructive Feedback, you have to be careful, because he's going to start with a yellow charge. Any damage you do while this yellow charge is active, while that timer is there, anything I hit into his block, any hits, any damage is going to be stored and then reflected back onto me if I get hit during that period. While it's on cooldown here, while the timer is gray in the top right, then I can hit into him and you'll see the actual gray and yellow numbers. Everything is, proper damage is going to be there. Now I found just keep pushing him to special ones, so then he has less of a chance to throw his heavy attack. But you can see while it's yellow, you won't see any damage numbers show up, but as soon as that timer disappears, you're going to see a big chunk of damage. There you go, big red damage there. But if you throw like a big special 2 into him while he's got the destructive feedback active, and then you take 1 blocked hit, then all that damage gets reflected back onto you. You don't have to get hit. Even a parry, and it will get reflected right back onto you, and you will take all that damage instead. So not too bad. Even when he does throw his heavy attack, it's not so bad to evade, even while rooted. And again, if you die, you can just restart until you get the solo. You don't have to spend any units on it at all, or revives or anything. You can always just, the key will, you'll get the key back if you just for the vault. So here I can pick whichever rewards I want, and this is what I meant by if you go into when you have the 4 extra keys. Obviously you want to do all 4 paths here and go backwards to get the last path, even though there's no fight that way. But then you can get your 6-star generic awakening gem from the milestone rewards, and then you could take your extra keys, go into threat level 4, and then you just do 1 path of the highest difficulty. You grab threat level, you grab 1 path in the maze of all the other weeks, or all 4 weeks you can do 1 path of threat level 4. Then you can go into the vault, 1 path, and do threat level 4 1 time for each of the weeks, and you can pick the reward you want. So if you want to get some tier 2 promoter best, you want to get some shards, you want to get some stuff, so bonus rewards that you can get. Hope that helps, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye.